Hey, it's the Empire. Don't forget to hit the like button, the subscribe button, and the bell icon for more videos. We taking over. Let's go, champ. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button right now. Let's go.
And I think that would be the keys to success.
AJ, you've become the man. We got Dana White trying to come over here with $500 million.
Get me the contract.
I mean, that's pretty big deal. $500 million, a half a billion. You're almost a billionaire then.
I'm not ready to faint. Nah. Listen, this is just what we do. This is what we love. But listen, if it's real, let's sit down and have a conversation. If it's not, them figures that are being thrown about, even if I get caught at it, I'll be happy. Do you know what I mean? That's a lot of dough, man. That's a lot of dough.
All right, man. It's the Empire, Geoboxing Empire, Backstone Boxing. You guys heard it, man. Dana White offered Anthony Joshua $500 million. Crazy stuff, man. Crazy stuff. You hear Anthony Joshua said he wanted to faint when he heard about those kind of numbers. Crazy stuff, man. Dana White's trying to offer that real money to Anthony Joshua. So we're gonna see what happens, man. But right now, Anthony Joshua makes. I know he made about $20 million for the Carlos Takam fight. And for this fight, he could be making a little less because Justin Parker wanted more of this fight, obviously, because he's a champion, right? So he's probably getting like 15, 20 million in between that too. But $500 million for this contract is an incredible amount of money, right? Now, if you guys didn't know, this is a 10-fight contract, and that's a lot of money, right? If you actually do the math, that's about 50 million a fight, which is an incredible amount of money. That's more than double what he's making now. So that'd be a really big deal if Anthony Joshua can get this contract, man. People always talk about money and Anthony Joshua worth and how he needs to build his name up. Man, if he signs his contract, man, he'll basically double each of his fights. He will double each of his fights, more than double, So, do the math. The biggest fight, or at least his last fight, he made 20 million, and he's going to be making 50 million a fight instead of 20 million. He's going to be making more than 2.5, 2.4 times more, which is like an insane amount of money. Anthony Joshua is becoming a really big name. Now, I see Danny White trying to build Anthony Joshua like Anthony Joshua is a really big name. He has huge demographics, obviously in the UK. And apparently, Zuffa Boxing wants to control Anthony Joshua. And if I were Dana White, which I'm pretty sure he has his plan, he's probably going to build cards off Anthony Joshua. Every time Anthony Joshua fights, he's going to put the champions on that card, and he's going to make a good boxing card to the point where by the time Anthony Joshua retires, he's going to have a good stable of boxers fighting underneath him. Now, if you guys didn't know, Dana White applied for his license in Vegas, and he's planning to have it there, which is a really good idea. Vegas is always a big boxing, it's a big boxing mecca. Floyd Mayweather always fights in Vegas. It's just brimming with talent and history. So, believe me, if Dana White signs Anthony Joshua, he's probably going to be fighting on May 5th, guarantee it. And he might take over the new Mayweather day. He's going to take that day back over. And I think that's what Dana White's trying to do, man. You got to understand that, like I said, Joshua has a certain demographic in the UK. And, Dana White already, with just, if you compare to UFC at least, he already has the American audience, And, the average pay-per-view is like $50, which is like a cheap one, In boxing, Anthony Joshua fights only like $20, $30 max, So the price would definitely go up. And these are just regular fights. Inevitably, Deontay Wilder and Anthony Joshua was probably going to fight in that 10th fight. And believe me, it's not going to be $50 for that pay-per-view. It's not going to be $50 for that pay-per-view at all. So, it's good. It's a good deal for Anthony Joshua because I think most of his fights, there's not too many fighters who can really challenge Anthony Joshua besides the Deontay Wilder one. In my opinion, at least right now, 10 fights is a long time, so a lot of contenders and prospects can come up, later in his career. But I think it's a good deal, man. One thing that the UFC does, at least what the UFC is, what Dana White does, is you can't have sponsors in the UFC. What he does is he signs you to Reebok, and you can't have like Rolex sponsor you or Dre Beats or anything like that. You only have to do one thing. So I'm not sure how much they're going to control Anthony Joshua. I'll link in the description this interview. I gave you guys a little snippet of it. They talk about how basically Anthony Joshua owns everything. In boxing, the boxer owns everything, and in the UFC, basically Dana White owns everything. He owns the fights. He owns the box office. He owns all that stuff. So Anthony Joshua would be getting paid a lot more, but he won't own the rights to the fights. So I'm not too sure. It sounds like quick money, but I'm not too sure. Like Anthony Joshua should probably want to own his fights in the future, especially if he becomes a legend. Those replay values, give you royalties. So things like that he should be thinking about. Yeah, you're making a quick money right now, but maybe 10 fights is a little bit too long. Maybe you wanted to keep it shorter, maybe like 5 fights. Get paid a little less, but you don't want your like signature fights owned by somebody else. That's definitely not a good thing. Deontay Wilder and Anthony Joshua, that's gonna be a classic fight, man. That fight's gonna be replaying a lot. I guarantee those replays to those kind of fights probably at least make like 50 to 100 million a year worldwide. I'm not sure how many times Ali and Joe Frazier replayed over and over again, but I'm pretty sure they made a substantial amount of money, right? So we're gonna see how everything unfolds, man. I mean, Anthony Joshua, like I said, there's not too many fights that have really good replay value because he knocks people out so quickly. But I really think the Deontay Wilder Anthony Joshua fight, he's probably try to get the rights to that fight himself. But all the other fights are probably, it's okay not to own the rights to like smaller name fighters, but still, you want to own the rights to all your fights. Why not? Because you can, after you're done, your career's done, you can release like a straight HD DVD and own everything to it, and not worry about buying the rights by somebody else when you're the one actually fighting. So it's just some things you gotta think about. As a fighter, you're dedicating your career to it. It's not just in a moment. You gotta think about after you're done. If you want to control your content of your best accomplishments without paying someone else and using using their rights, even though it's your fight because you sold it off for a quick buck. You gotta think about those kind of things. But I'm really excited for Anthony Joshua, man. He says he wants to sign a deal, so it's whatever. If he thinks he wants to do that, maybe he invests his money well and flips it. Who knows? Who knows? We're gonna see what happens, though, man. I really think this is gonna be a huge deal. Dana White is known for his incredible promotions. It's just another demographic that Dana White brings to the table that Anthony Joshua hasn't been exposed to yet, much less just fighting in America in itself. He's definitely going to bring him to America fighting in Vegas. So that would be a big deal. His first fight in Vegas would be a big one, Let me know how you guys feel about it, man. I actually think, in my opinion, at least, well, usually when you bring up a deal, you always go low first, right? And then you negotiate and you always go low. You want to pay a guy at least as possible, So Dana White, while 500 million sounds like a lot, I think they could really afford more. Tell you the truth, because I seen Dana White build up nobodies, in they're making 100 million. They're selling like a million pay-per-views or whatever for $50. That's like 50 million right there. So Dana White really, I mean, a million pay-per-views in America is sort of normal just for a big name. But the thing with Anthony Joshua is he's not just an American icon, or at least he's not just a UK icon. And once he comes to America, he'll be global, and his pay-per-view would definitely be, in my opinion, at least his second or third fight. It would probably be in the 2 and 3 millions. I'm guaranteeing it, like, consistently. If he promotes Anthony Joshua the correct way, because Anthony Joshua, he's already doing big numbers in the UK. He's doing about close to 1 million every time he fights, and his name is only going to get bigger, right? So that's how I feel about it, man. It sounds like a great deal, but honestly, in my opinion, he can probably go higher, man. Eddie Hearn and Anthony Joshua are working together for this deal, actually. So Eddie Hearn could probably get them to higher. Definitely, like I said earlier, if you're gonna sign a contract, you're missing out on a lot of things, like the ownership of your fights, your sponsorships. A lot of things go into that. At least that's how the UFC does it. So I'm comparing them because that's how they do it there. So I'm guessing they're trying to do the same thing with Anthony Joshua. Let me know how you guys feel about it, though, man. Like I said, that sounds like a lot. It sounds like a lot, but I know paying someone 500 million, they're gonna want to own those rights to the fights, obviously, and they're gonna want to control what Anthony Joshua wears, and it just they're gonna get more out of him than just boxing the fights, then and there, So if he fights someone, they're not gonna just own the fight. They're gonna get the sponsorships. They're gonna get all the sponsors that are gonna sponsor Anthony Joshua, even if he gets to keep them. They might just cash out on that too. They might be like, no, actually, we own the sponsorships to your guy. So even if Anthony Joshua not just signed to like Reebok or whatever, and he gets to keep his sponsorships, the thing is, paying someone $500 million, they're gonna probably keep those sponsorships. So man, yeah, man, or at least the money to those sponsorships. So that's how I feel about it, man. You gotta be really careful with these contracts. You gotta know how to read them, and I think Eddie Hearn, he should be able to at least. He's a promoter, but maybe he should get a couple lawyers looking at this contract to make sure everything's all well and good. So that's how I feel about it, man. Let me know how you guys feel about it. Like, comment, subscribe. This is the Empire. Geoboxing Empire. Peace. Boxing Empire. Peace.